All right, y'all. So I don't know if anybody in here or not, but anyway, we won't get into the video. First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. Hope y'all having a blessed day. Hope y'all having a good Friday. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Hope the blessings is, what I'm saying, benefiting you at the end of the day. So I want to start off by saying thank you to the people that subscribe to my channel, people that follow me on social media platforms, people that engage with me in my content, and people that support me and support the channel and things like that. So I do appreciate y'all. Today this video gonna be about why I prefer to use cash instead of using a card, debit card or a credit card. Um I probably would use a credit card, but it only depends on the circumstances. But more of the story, this is more about why I choose to use cash instead of using a debit card or a card in general or digital pay or whatever. So I'm gonna give my take on the reason I prefer to use cash when I make purchases or I'm purchasing something or something like that is because when I can manage my money a little bit better. I can manage my money better. I know how much I'm spending. I'm not overspending. I could just manage it a little bit better compared to as a card. Like, you use the card, you make the purchase. The moment you swipe it, you make the purchase. The the transaction, it goes, but the money don't process right then. You see what I'm saying? It basically like take a couple days for it to process and for it to complete. So then when you look on your account, it say like pending, transaction pending. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I feel like that the moment I swipe the card or I put it inside the machine, enter into a chip, I think that the money should go there right then. It shouldn't be no pending and all that other stuff. Cause let's say like, all right, let's say for example, today is Friday. And I go make a purchase somewhere at the store or something like that. And I put my card in there. All right, it's gonna say approved, transaction approved. But when I go on my account, my bank account thing or whatever, it's gonna say pending transaction, saying that it's pending. And usually, like when you make these transactions and stuff, the transaction don't complete to like maybe like, all right, today Friday. Hell, it might complete on Sunday or Monday, and I don't like that. I want my transaction to go through right then, because sometimes like when it does that, it'll cause you to go into overdraft. You start to overdraft your account and stuff like that because you might purchase something right then, and then you might go somewhere else and purchase something using your card. Then you might go somewhere else purchase something. So now you got uh transactions stacked on top of one another that's just pending. And then when Monday come, everything that you had purchased or whatever, that's when the transaction gonna be complete. So whatever money you had left over, it's gonna take that away. And it'll cost you to go broke and stuff like that. But with cash, you make a purchase right then, boom, the transaction good, the money good or whatever. You still got a couple dollars in your pocket and stuff like that. So that's why I prefer to use cash and not a card. That's just my experiences from when I use a card, because when I use a card, I'm like, why am I missing money? Why does money keep coming up missing and stuff like that? It's because of those pending transactions. And then another thing you gotta take in consideration too, like with some of the with some of the machines that you get, like you see in the store, like gas stations and stuff. I remember one point in time it was a thing where I think they call it like a skimmer or something like that. Anyway, the machine that you use to swipe the card, there was people using those fake machines, and it was collecting people information and stuff like that. When they put the chip in, when they put the chip in, or they swipe it or something, it'll collect people information, and people used to get like scammed and different things with that and stuff. So that's one of the things too. Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're vulnerable and you just you're just a victim to this stuff. I think when we was using cash, it was probably better back then and stuff. And then, like, you don't have to overspend or anything like that. So that's my take on why I prefer to use cash and things like that. I mean, if I use a card, I probably use it for like something like making a small purchase, but I won't if I need shoes or something like that, I just go online or something, like, not go online, but I just go to like a store or something and see if I could if I could get the shoes there at the store and just pay it in cash. Or if they ain't got that shoe that I'm looking for in the store, I go to the store and ask them, "Hey, can you order these for me? And I want to come pick it up and I want to pay it in cash instead of like just going online and making the purchase." And people got your information and stuff like that. And with credit cards, with them, you gotta be careful with those too, because you could easily get in some sort of debt. Now, if you dealing with credit cards, it's best to pay them off on time to avoid, like, um, you know, having to pay interest and all this other stuff or whatever, or going into any type of debt. The thing with credit cards, at least, like, you can you can work on your credit. You can build some credit. When you make a purchase with your credit card, all right, you make that purchase and then you gotta put it right back, and it just builds your credit up. So that's the good thing about with credit cards. But it's just, with that, if you don't pay it on time, it it'll put you in a situation where, like, you don't want to be in, put you in debt and stuff. So that's my take on it, about that or whatever. So I'm gonna play this video of this man explaining about cash and cards in general, and he gonna give you a good breakdown of it, and then I'm gonna give y'all my take on what he said and what I think about it and stuff.
Is using a debit card better than paying with cash? As like everything in life, it depends, but by the end of this video, you'll know. Generally, using a debit card is the worst way to spend your money. A debit card gives anyone access to your checking account, which contains probably more money than you can carry in your wallet. Let's say you have $100 cash in your wallet, plus a debit card connected to your checking, which has $15,000 in it, and you see something you like to buy for $100. You can solve this minor issue by paying with a credit card, but sadly, you don't have one. So you're stuck paying for it with cash or with your debit card. Option 1, you pay with cash and that's that. You're down $100, but you got what you wanted. Option 2, you pay with a debit card, which in most cases that's the end of that, $100 for that thing you want. But then there's option 3, your debit card gets compromised somehow. Happens all the time. Instead of spending $100, the bad guy has your debit card info and later spends $10,000 on something else in a distant land. In many cases, such a large purchase would be flagged and the illegal deed wouldn't happen. But if the amount is smaller, more reasonable, and if the purchase was made closer to home at a reasonable time frame, then it'll go through. Even your debit card PIN isn't really safe here. These kinds of debit card fiascos mainly happen in two places: gas stations and restaurants. If you pay for gas with a debit card, you could later see an illegal purchase at that same station for $100 exactly. Or if you give your debit card to a waiter for the check and that waiter swipes the data on that card and later buys something with it. Even swiping your debit card at a pay station can make you vulnerable because the station might be rigged to steal your card information. A debit card gives the bad guys access to your checking accounts and whatever amount is in it. And because it's your money and not the bank's money, the banks are less likely to overturn an illegal transaction. Using a debit card is exposing you to financial liability. 99% of all your liability can be removed if you never use a debit card. Cash is safer than a debit card because it limits your liability to the cash you have at hand. If you get mugged, you really only lost the amount of cash you had in your wallet. Your debit card is somewhat vulnerable if you're forced to give your PIN or if it's swiped, but chances are a thug would be in a hurry. If you carry a credit card, that thing is completely safe. Any false purchases can be disputed and you have protection. In the hierarchy of spending form, use a credit card first, cash second, and never use a debit card. Using a debit card instead of paying with cash is a bad idea under every circumstance. So what are your thoughts? Do you have a credit card? Do you spend with cash? Do you spend with your debit card? Comment below. And as always, take care of your money.
All right, so he gave you pretty much the same rundown that I gave. Like, when it comes to debit cards, it's like, you could be at risk. People could take your information and do whatever they need to do. But like you said, with cash, you pay $100. That's that. You know. On if you happen to pay $100 and let's say you lose money in cash, all right, that money gone. But with a card, if something happens, like you could like maybe like freeze your account or something like that, or you know put it on pause or something when it comes to the card. But with cash, you lose it, that's that. But you pay it, you buy something or you make a purchase, something like that. That's that. It ain't no pending transactions or anything like that. So that's my take on about why I prefer to use cash instead of using a card. And you can manage your money better. Let's just say you have some money in the bank, you could take your money out and then put it up somewhere, and then for something you want to buy, you just take out whatever you need to take out and go buy it. You ain't gotta worry about you ain't gotta worry about any pending transactions, and then like you buy it one day, you make the purchase one day, and then you gotta wait all the way another day to for the transaction to be completed. Next thing you know, it costs you to go into overdraft and stuff. So that's my take on why I prefer to use cash instead of a card. You know, that's just what I prefer to use. So I'm gonna look at some more because I know it's other people that give like some more detail about why um you know it's better to use a card instead of carrying cash. People got their own views about why they want to carry they don't want to carry cash, and I get it because it'd be like safety reasons and things like that and stuff. But um let's see here. Thank you to the people that's joining and coming in or whatever the case is. I appreciate it. What I'm talking about, if you just coming up in here, I was just sharing about in the beginning of this video, I was sharing why I prefer to use cash instead of using a debit card. That's what this video about, and that's why I was giving a breakdown on it, elaborating on it and stuff. So if you came up in here, you come, this is about. If you want to comment what you prefer, cash or card, share your opinion, share your thoughts. I want to see what this guy got to say right here.
Every small business owner has a monster to-do list.
All right, much requested topic. Is it better to pay with cash or cards? And much like many of these personal finance questions, the answer is it depends. Better for whom and in what circumstances and with what financial situation? This is, should I pay off my mortgage early? Well, it depends. What are you trying to achieve? What's important to you? What are the biggest concerns? Let's start by talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages to cash and cards, and then we will kind of take a zoom out. So, what are the advantages of paying with a credit card? If you lose the card, you cancel it. Okay. If you lose cash, you've lost the money, right? You don't really lose any money if you lose a credit card or a debit card, and we'll talk about the
And I just said that too. I said that when you lose cash, then you lose the money. That's it, you know. But with card, it's a little different. You could freeze your account.
difference between credit and debit a little bit later. Leverage is another convenience. Finish the card the way that you have to replenish cash as you use it. It doesn't run out in the same way. You don't fold it up. You don't deal with change. So there's a physical convenience to using cards as well. Fraud protection. If you get defrauded with cash, it's basically gone. I mean, you can file a police report, but essentially the money is gone. With cards, there are significant shields from financial liability. If you're scammed, you might only be responsible for a certain number of dollars for unauthorized purchases made on your cards, etc. There can be what we might call, I guess we'll call it like extra protection in many cases when using cards. So this can include car rental insurance. An important thing to know is whether your card provides primary rental car insurance or secondary. You can sometimes there are credit cards that will double the manufacturer warranty on a product. Important to look at what are all the things that might come with your credit card. Rewards can be a really big deal, and rewards can include, miles, cash back, points, and all sorts of things. They have a value, so sometimes people don't know how do I think about those things. Well, there's a specific value. Miles might be worth 1.4 cents each if they are American Airlines miles, for example. The cash is just worth what the cash is, etc. Couple other things. I mean, I don't know how much of a big deal this is to people, but there is a sort of sanitary element to you just have your credit card and it's yours. In Europe, usually the wait staff don't even touch the credit card. They just bring you a thing. In the US, it's more common that wait staff touch the credit card, but instead of just money that's floating all around, touched by so many people, it's dirty. You have that. And then for me, another advantage is I call it the kind of accounting. Man, my handwriting it's getting worse and worse during the segment.
So right here, I think he's giving like the the pros and the cons and the pros of with the card. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, giving the cons with the cash and stuff. When you see in this video, some of these things I kind of agree with him on. Far as like you when you get like protection, you get extra protection and the fraud and you know um having space and you ain't gotta worry about change and all that other stuff. I kind of agree with him on that. And the thing when he says about sanitary, people touch, you could easily just clean your money. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta like just take the money and you could easily clean your money. All you gotta do is take some spray, sanitary spray, spray your money, spray it down. Spray it, wipe the germs off, and it be gone. So that's something you can control. Like, that ain't really a big issue or whatever. Um, but the other stuff, before when you say fraud and extra protection, I agree with him on that one.
Counting. Look at that. Jeez, what a disaster. My first grade teacher would be disgusted. For me, at the end of the month, because I essentially don't use cash, I can just look through my statement, categorize all my spending very easily. Whereas if you're using cash, you have to have some other mechanism other than that credit card statement to remember exactly what you spent the cash on. Okay, let's now talk about the benefits of cash. So, one benefit of cash is versatility. What do I mean by versatility? Well, um, generally speaking, cash is accepted at way more places than cards. Now, this has been changing. I do think that this is a
That's a fact. They are cash is way more accepted at places and stuff like that. People, um, I don't know. It's just when you have cash, it's just, I don't know. It's different. It's like, all right.
benefit that is diminishing over time with cash. It's often the easiest transaction method. You can avoid convenience fees, right? No so-called convenience fees. Now, there's a question about a convenience fee would be you go to a place and they say, we add 59 cents if you use a card.
I know what he's talking about because there's places where I go and I make a purchase or something like that, and I use my card, and they say, "Oh, we charge a $5 fee for to use the card." I'm like, a $5 fee? Like, damn.
That's in many cases not actually allowed by the credit card companies. There are, depending on the agreements that merchants have with credit card companies, they are not allowed to add a fee for using the card. It's a disincentive. They'd rather have cash, and there's different reasons why they might rather have cash, and it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this. So, as it has become more well known that the credit card companies don't actually allow merchants to add a fee in many cases, instead, some merchants will offer a cash discount. It's really the same thing, which is it can sometimes be a little bit cheaper to pay with cash up front. Now, remember, the rewards have value. So imagine that you save 1% by using cash, but you forego 1% cash back. It's sort of even, right? No interest. So with credit cards, after the first month, you start accruing interest. With cash, there's never going to be interest. You also cannot deficit spend. In other words, with a credit card, if you have a $10,000 limit on a card, but only 2,000 in the bank, you can actually spend $8,000 more than you have. You can't do that with cash. There is the, what do I want to call this? I guess I would call it like the psychological spend feeling. There are some studies that find that when you are physically doling out cash, you viscerally connect to the expense. It feels much more real than using a card. And that some studies have found that people spend less in those situations.
And that's and right there, I agree with that as well. Like, cause when I do when I spend, it do feel realistic, and I tend to like I could hold on to some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gotta overspend or nothing like that. I tend to hold on to money a little bit better. Hold on for a second. Um, but yeah, I tend to manage my money a little bit better when I do that, spending with cash.
And that is arguably an advantage to cash. Okay, So these are some of the advantages of either of them. And of course, the disadvantages are just the counterpoints to these. What about changes that are happening right now? Well, one of the things we've seen, particularly during and after the COVID pandemic, is that there are more and more places saying no to cash and going card only. So that's a change. Another convenience with card is you can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever with your phone, and then you can eliminate even needing the card itself. There is increasingly a preference for card at more and more merchants. So those are things to consider. I'm a card guy, and for me, the biggest reasons are
But yeah, that's my take on it. His video here, he had some good points and stuff like that. But I learned that I'm a cash guy, and going forward, I think that's how I'm gonna be doing things is um using cash. I won't be using card like that too much often now. Um, but yeah, that's that's my thoughts on it. Like, I think I'm gonna just start using cash, go back to how it used to be, use cash. And yeah, cause me, I don't like to spend a lot, but it just helped me control my budget and help me manage my money a little bit better. Different boats for different different things for different people. Like you said, he's a card guy, and nothing wrong with that. I'm more of a cash guy, you know. And the thing is like, um you just don't know. You might get some gas somewhere, and whatever company it is, it may do something. Anything can happen, man. It's just better for me to use cash, and that's what I want to continue doing. um I do believe in, like, keeping some money in your bank account, but also have cash too. I'm kind of like in between both. Like, I have some money in the bank on my card, and then I have some cash too. I just don't believe in having all my money in the bank, and just using my card whenever I need to make a purchase. I'm not doing that no more, because I do want to have cash on me, and just it's just better. That's what worked for me. But yeah, that's what this video was about. I hope everybody enjoyed, or people that did view this video or that did come through. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure y'all go follow me on Twitch at Mazen_NC, MASEZEN_NC. And that's the same thing for my Twitch, my Kick, and my Instagram. You can follow me up there. I'll be doing gaming and stuff like that. I'm trying to get a schedule together where I could do some vlogs and do live workouts and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get the schedule, make sure I can fit time into the schedule to be able to do that. Um, I think I'm gonna probably do that around this weekend, or if not this weekend, sometime next week or whatever. But I'll keep y'all posted. If you're following me on Twitter, on social media, I'll keep you posted. So yeah, but I'm about to close this out. I just wanted to come up here and make this video, give you my thoughts and my opinion about cash compared to cards, why I chose to use cash instead of using a card, and my experiences from using a card, and what I think it does for me. So yeah, I was just sharing that with you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll stay keep y'all posted on the next video that I make. And thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for supporting. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. Have a good weekend.